In this video, we're going to cover how to process parts returns. So the first step is we're going to go to accounting, payables, and then process parts returns. Now, there's other videos on how to actually return the parts, and it looks like we're going to have to do it because all of them have already been processed. So let's just start there. So we're going to go to parts. We're just going to locate an item. So we'll try 09-500 maybe. So we've got some of these. So the first step is to actually set the part up to be returned. And so what we're going to do is down here in the bottom of the locate screen, on the view screen, we've got a return item icon, and it's a little green arrow pointing to the left. So we're going to tell the system that we want to return this particular item. So we're just going to click the green button. Up here, it's going to tell us who we're returning it to and how many of them. So we'll just say we're going to return 2 of these. And then you click the return items button. And you'll notice now that our inventory is now 2 less than what it was a minute ago. So the system has removed those 2 parts from inventory. But the question now is, well, how do we keep up with them? And so the next step is we're going to go over here to accounting, payables, and we're going to go to process parts returns. And now you can see the part. Well, there's 2 steps to this thing. The first is to actually put it in a box and send it back to the vendor. And so here it allows us on this screen it keeps up with the different suppliers, and it also allows me to come in here and select that I have shipped this part back, because if you can imagine, I may have 20 parts on here. 2 of them got shipped yesterday and the other 18 are going to get shipped today. I need to know what 2 I shipped yesterday. So I'm going to pick that I have shipped it. I can fill in, and it's not required, but I can fill in the tracking number or RMA number if I have it, so that the system keeps up with the information on that particular return. At some point, the vendor is going to give me a return, and they're basically going to say, look, we've given you credit for these parts. Well, it's entirely possible that some of the parts they're not going to give us any credit for. Some of the parts they're going to give us partial credit. Some of the parts they're going to mix in with other returns. So I may return 5 different returns this month. They give me one memo number, credit memo, with all of the returns on it. So that's why we don't create a purchase order return until we actually know what's going to be on it. So at this point, we've told it that we've shipped it back. Now we're going to pretend that we've actually gotten the credit memo. And so they've given us an invoice number that they wanted us to reference. So we're going to put in the invoice number. And let's say on this particular part, they only gave us $375 of the money that we had originally asked for. And so once we fill in the information here, we're going to select the item that we want to return, because remember, I can have more than one item here. So, and actually you want to select your items before you fill in your invoice number, because it clears it. But you want to select all the items that you're going to return, fill in the amounts, put in the invoice number that you're going to use that the vendor's given you, and then we're going to tell it to create the refund. At this point, the system has created a new return purchase order with just the parts that we specifically said to put on here. Now, at this point, we're going to edit the purchase order. We can fill in any additional information we want to on the PO. We got one more chance to change the cost on the parts if we need to change or if we miss something. Then we're going to go to next, and we're going to tell it to post the refund. Now, once we do this thing has become official, and we're going to have an AR that's basically waiting for the credit memo. So we're just going to tell it to post the refund. And at this point, we are placed on the refund screen, the payment refund screen. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come down here to the part that we just did the refund on, the purchase order we just got through doing. We're going to select it for payment. We're going to come down here and tell it that we're going to pay with a credit memo number, and we're going to fill in the actual credit memo number that they gave us to reference the payment. So the first step is selecting your parts. The second step is actually processing the PO once you've edited it and made sure that everything's correct. And then the third step is actually entering the credit memo itself so that we can use this thing in purchasing to pay our bills with it. And then once we're done, we hit process payment, and everything's finished.